Make yourself a priority. Make yourself a priority. I know many of you probably lived your life feeling as if you're second. And most of the time, you feel like you're second is because you put other people first. And there's nothing wrong with putting other people first, but you kind of lose yourself doing that. And you might also be the type of person to always be like, yes, 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 yes. Meaning you say yes to anything or whatever anyone says, you know. You have a hard time saying no. And this also can be related to people pleasing. So when you start to people please, you end up putting yourself last because you care so much about the other person, you forget about yourself. And this happens to a lot of people, so don't feel bad about it. I was also in that same place where I didn't prioritize myself. And this could either be, your actions, your feelings, your own emotions, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You might be putting other people before yourself. You probably didn't make yourself a priority. You were probably one of those people that felt like, you had to be there for other people, and you're almost like you feel guilty for not being there for the other person. If you're that type of person, don't feel bad about it, because I was also that type of person too. But now we're going to change that. We're going to change that by slowly changing the way you think. So, don't get me wrong, it's not going to happen overnight, or you're not going to just change into a different person. But I'm just saying it's okay being the person that you are. It's actually a good quality, being a nice person, being helpful, being empathetic, being there for other people. But there has to come a time where you have to keep your own boundaries and prioritize yourself. And there's nothing wrong with prioritizing yourself. Some people might think that's selfish. That's actually not selfish. You're not being a selfish person by putting yourself first. You're not being a selfish person by prioritizing yourself. And other people might think that's selfish, but it's not. And also, don't feel guilty, because there was a time in my life where I was putting other people first. I was living my life like that, where I wanted to help others. And then there was a time when I chose, okay, you eventually get sick and tired of just being there for other people and putting them first and putting yourself second. There was a breaking point, and then I started putting myself first. But at the same time, when I started putting myself first, I started feeling super guilty. And I don't know if any of you had that experience too, but in a way, it almost put me backwards. It almost made me go back into being a people pleaser again. Thankfully, I just told myself to just be stronger and have, boundaries with other people, and just know when to say no. Prioritizing yourself is not a bad thing, Another thing to prioritizing yourself is almost like you're having a healthier relationship with yourself. And I feel like a lot of people lack that. They tend to have better relationships with other people than have a relationship with themselves. So they feel more comfortable having a relationship with other people, meaning they tend to please other people, be there for other people, but they lose themselves, and that's because they don't have a good relationship with themselves, or they might not even have any relationship with themselves. So that's why it's just very important to start putting yourself first, and just tell yourself, even when your mind might be like, okay, should I go outside and should I be there for this person? But damn, I just have to get my schoolwork done. But no, that person just wants me to come outside because they're just going to the mall alone. And then there might be you who might feel like, oh no, I don't know what to do. Like, I have homework to do, but I do have to finish it. It's part of my responsibility. But then, your friend might be like, no, I need you to come with me. I can't go outside alone. I need you to go to the mall or whatever. Your mind might be, shifting back and forth, going back and forth. And, this could also be in a relationship where your partner might want to do something, but you might not feel comfortable, and you just keep giving them yourself. You just keep giving them, like Like, you're not saying no for an answer. And it just comes to a point where it just becomes unhealthy. You just need to, when it comes to that point, you just need to keep telling yourself that this is unhealthy. If I decide to go with this person, if I decide to step outside of my comfort zone, if I decide to, not have boundaries, that's bad for me. You need to realize that during that time. You need to somehow realize that and just put a full stop to it. There's nothing wrong with that. And as long as you have that little trigger in your mind where it tells you, okay, you're doing too much, you're giving yourself too much to the other person, when your mind says that during that time, that's when you're able to stop. So you just need to keep training your mind to be that way. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen, every single time. You might fail sometimes, being there for the other person. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with being there for someone else. It becomes a bad point, or it becomes toxic when you sacrifice your own happiness, or when you don't feel comfortable doing something and you do it for the other person. That's when it becomes a problem. And that's when you realize that you don't have a good relationship with yourself. And I want to tell you, please don't feel guilty for putting yourself first. Just don't feel guilty, because there was a point in my life when I felt really guilty and I felt like, oh my God, am I a horrible person? Like, why am I, being selfish? Like, am I being selfish? Like, I was confused. I didn't know if I was doing the right thing, or I didn't know if I was sacrificing too much of myself for another person. It's like you'll be in that place of fog. It's like you don't know if you're doing the right thing or not. But like, maybe later you might look back and be like, okay, that's good. I did make the right choice. I did make the right decision. Because when I look back in my life, and there was times when I didn't prioritize myself, and there was time when I did prioritize myself, and there's times when I put other people first, and there was times when I, didn't put myself first, or I did put myself first. But, you look back and you think, okay, you made the right choices when you put yourself first. And there's nothing wrong with that. So don't feel bad. And, it's not going to be easy, because the need to prioritize other people before you, that doesn't make you a bad person. And it just might be the person that you are, or you're just, some people might call that people pleasing, but sometimes it could also be, lack of self-esteem, because you want approval from other people. But there's nothing bad, it's not a weakness. Like, we all are not perfect. We all are growing to be better people. And in this year, I want you to not, put yourself last. I want you to start prioritizing yourself. And you're not going to get there right away. So take this time to just be there for yourself. And it's okay to say no. Just remember that it's okay to say no. And just, just be true to who you are. The reason why you might have a hard time prioritizing yourself or putting yourself first is because you don't know how to keep boundaries with other people. So, when you've been always there for other people, they think it's easy for them. When I say it's easy for them, I mean, they feel like you're always going to say yes. They know that you're the type of person to be there right away. They know you're the type of person to put them first. They know that. They're aware of that. So just be careful. They know how kind you are. They know how empathetic you are. They know how you have their back. They know you're a good person. But that could also be a downfall for you, because now they know the type of person you are. And they know that you don't have any boundaries. So they're just going to keep taking advantage of you. So another thing that's important is for you to keep boundaries, and just keep boundaries so that they know what they're dealing with. They're not just going to every time take advantage of you. Like, you don't want them to think that you don't prioritize yourself. You don't want them to think that, you're that type of easy type of person to take advantage of. And as long as you have boundaries, I think people would be, I wouldn't say afraid of you. I would say when you have boundaries, they'll be more like, okay, they're more put in their place. They know that they can't just, just asking you to do things for them, or taking advantage of you, or, making you feel as if you know, you're not a good person, or make you feel guilty if you're not helping them out or being there for them. So that's why it's also important to keep boundaries. And yeah, I really hope this video helped you guys out. Just let me know if you guys are going through this, because I've had this problem before in the past. I used to always people please. I used to always feel guilty, and I used to always, you know, never have boundaries with other people, especially toxic people. That's like the worst. And I hope this video helped you guys, and just let me know what you guys think. Comment below, and I hope to see you guys again.